another day, another gamified decentralized application for your own pleasure. So this one is called Eternal. It's brought to you by the team at The Stamp. Now, if you don't know who these guys are, they actually have an audit website where you can apply for an audit, and then they would do that for you, give you a score if you have a certain project, and based on that, people would read the report and see if your project is secure from an audit perspective to invest in. So the owners have created this project, and it is a gamified DApp. Right now, it's just a miner. It's just money in versus money out. There's nothing external to what that is. Granted, they have a different set of rules from other miner dApps, but again, it's all how you play the game. It's all about timing your entry. And this one is slightly different because it has its own token. There are two pre-sales. One is running today by the time of recording. The second one is going to run on the 21st of February, excuse me. And hopefully my video will be released between the two. So let's quickly jump into the overview of this and also touch base on a few examples if you decide to enter the dApp. Alright, so like I said, this one is slightly different. It has its own token, ETRNL, Eternal, short for Eternal. And the main user interface is actually quite friendly. So once you connect your wallet, you can see everything that you'll be able to see. So the total value locked in USDC. So they're leveraging USDC, especially after what happened with BUSD as of late. So you can enter two pools actually, both USDC and Eternal. We'll touch base on this pretty soon. If you scroll down, you can see where you invest both and the returns that we're going to be covering, so on and so forth. So let's quickly jump into it from a simplistic overview, all right? Okay, so first things first, like I said, there are two entries. So you have to enter with USDC, and you can leverage that to enter with Eternal as well, because there are two staking pools. Now, one thing to note is that Eternal as a token doesn't have a liquidity pool attached to it, meaning you cannot buy it and sell it on the open free market. You're gonna either have to acquire it from the pre-sale, or you're gonna have to get it from staking USDC. So if you enter with USDC, you get a static 1% a day based on the amount of USDC you have in Eternal. So it doesn't matter what the value of Eternal is at that point, you're gonna get 1%. So 1000 USDC would net you 10 Eternal, even if the price of Eternal increases. So you can use that Eternal to enter the second staking pool and earn 2% a day on that Eternal in Eternal as well. Now, the catch here is that you can only add so much Eternal to that pool up until the value of that Eternal in the pool is not greater than the value of USDC you entered with at the beginning, right? So there's this ratio that you need to keep in mind. So if I entered with 500 USDC and the price of Eternal is $2, I can only put in a maximum of about 249 Eternal, and that's it. And I can earn on that as well. Few things to add. The max payout is 250%, so 2.5x, but you have to account for taxes. That's coming up next. The initial token allocation is 150k, so it's going to be given to pre-salers, it's going to be given to influencer, to the team, etc. There is also the potential to mint in case more people enter, meaning more Eternal is going to be released as dividends. And there is one limit in regards to selling your Eternal. You can do that once a week, so you can easily accumulate and then sell once a week. They didn't specify the amount, it's just the action of selling once. Now, more things to mention in regards to the mechanics of the dApp itself. Yes, there is a referral bonus, as most of these have. So this one is kind of static. It follows the round robin structure where it jumps from one person to the next. It's 3% on deposits and it's up to 5 levels. That's it. So that 3% you're gonna get on top of the Eternal that you have. So you're earning Eternal, right? So you're gonna get that deposited on top. Now, like I said, the initial mint is 150k, but there is the potential to add another 10k per week. So there's a limit of 10k per week. Perhaps that will be revised. I'm not quite sure 100% as of yet, but this is to ensure that people are gonna keep getting their Eternal. Now, like I said, there are no liquidity pools attached to the Eternal token, so it gets its price feed simply by taking all the USDC that was deployed into the smart contract and dividing that by the circulating supply. And by circulating supply, I mean all the eternal sitting in wallets, because the internal that has been staked into the dApp is out of circulation. And you can clearly see that the more USDC I have and the more eternal I stake, meaning the higher the price of eternal. Very simple ratio, so people can leverage that once they utilize the app. Tokenomics, very simple. Deposit fees, 10% on eternal, 0% on USDC, meaning if when you enter the USDC pool, you're not gonna pay anything, but when you enter the eternal pool, you're gonna pay 10%. Claim is similar for both, 10%, because you're gonna get eternal, so 10% is taken out from that dividend that you're gonna be receiving. 5% on compounds and 20% on sell. So you can clearly see that there's a high tax if you decide to claim and sell, so 30% overall. And supposedly, based on the white paper, all of this tax is going to be versed to the through the referral rewards to the referrers. Now they also hinted that a portion of this will be used to burn eternal, which is cool, but again, it's not very clear how much goes where, but my assumption is most of this will be used for referrals. If there aren't as many, then the rest will go and burn eternal. There's also a jackpot feature. Now this one is actually a reference on the white paper as everything else if you want to learn more about it, but it's very simple. So there's also the fact that most of these dApps have the last depositor function and the biggest depositor function. So this one does as well, meaning there's a percentage of USDC taken from the deposits every 24 hours, 0.5% if I'm not mistaken, put into the pool. The last depositor takes the pot, and it won't kick in unless there's at least 500 USDC in there. The upper limit is 2,000, and the biggest depositor also takes a percentage. I think it's about 2% cashback on his deposit, again within a 24-hour time frame. Now this is essentially the skeleton of what this dApp is about. Now you know how the rules are. Of course, there are a few additional details if you want to learn more. Again, you can touch base through going into the white paper. So I have it open right here. You can check everything on its own. I'm not gonna connect my wallet now, so you can check whatever. Most of these FAQs are there, so you can check them out. There's also a minimum of 25 USDC, one eternal for both eternal and USDC staking pools. And there's also the fact that there are some more additional customized rules if you want to sell your eternal. So for example, if you have loose eternal that are not coming from the eternal staking pool, you're gonna get taxed heavily, up to 50%. There's also the fact that you cannot sell more than 25% of what you have in the eternal pool, meaning you cannot keep accumulating until you reach more than 25%, then you're gonna get taxed on top of this. And there's also anti-whale measures. You can know about them if you come here to the white paper. You can click on anti-DOP mechanics and read what are they about. And there's also something called the anti-freeloader, meaning a person that receives eternal token, let's say an influencer does, they cannot just sell them, they have to enter with USDC and then they can do the selling. So there are a few things that are put in place for initial people who have more eternal tokens than most of us, and they cannot just dump them on the market. And the anti-whale mechanics, also additional taxes if you own a lot of the supply, and you can see how this scales up. So I want to shift now to, like I said at the beginning, just give a few examples of how you can leverage this dApp to make some money. So either ROI quickly, make some, or play the long game if you honestly believe in it, right? But again, this is very risky. Use the upper echelon of the high risk capital. Just enter with the mentality that you're gonna be losing this money, and if you make it back and then some, that's great. All right, so don't enter within the mentality of, wow, this is absolute DeFi and I'm gonna make a killing. It's not the case, unfortunately. All right, like I said, I usually do very basic overviews, objective overviews. I'm not here to chill anything. I'm not gonna even post a referral link. So very quickly, if you are someone who's planning to ROI as quickly as possible, or let's just say the easiest way possible without getting too complicated, once you enter with, let's say, 500 USDC adding the taxes of the amount of daily dividends in Eternal you get, and also the selling tax, because you're gonna sell once a week, so you accumulate that amount, which is still under 25% of your initial balance, correct? Remember the rule? And you're gonna ROI within 20 weeks, assuming that the price of Eternal equals the price of 1 USDC. Now, if that doubles or triples, that number is slashed by 2 or by 3. Okay, very simple. Now, if you're planning to play the long game, enter 2 staking pools and play within the norms of the ratio between USDC and Eternal, you can do that. So you can claim as much as you'd like within no particular time frame, but you cannot sell. Keep that in mind. So I can claim every day, but not sell every day or every hour. So assuming I claim my Eternal, enter the second Eternal staking pool, get 2% of that, play the long game, arrive to a certain point where I cannot keep adding Eternal because perhaps the value of that Eternal will exceed my USDC value unless I want to put more. Then what happens at the end is that you collect the max payout from your dividends in the second staking pool, and you start taking money from the first staking pool and selling it. So the longer you go with this, the more money you'll make, assuming the contract will keep running, because at the end of the day, it all depends on how much USDC they're in, because that's what you're gonna take out once you sell Eternal, right? So the more this runs, the more you make if you play the long game, and vice versa. So there's less risky, there's more risky, but all in all, it's all risky. All right, so thank you so much for sticking around till the end if you have. Hope I brought you some value. See you in the next one. Have a good one.